Fading Echo is doing something rare in video games these days. For those of you that are tired of all the games released in early access right now, Fading Echo is kicking it old school. I mean, it's a complete game on day one. And even cooler, this new indie developer doesn't care about chasing trends. I mean, they released a classic 3D action platformer in 2026 that they thought gamers would enjoy. So today, I want you to jump back in time with me for my review of a hidden indie gem that reminds me of simpler times, when you could just get lost in the world and its characters for pure fun. No bullshit, no strings attached. What you buy is what you get. And it reminded me of just how much I've missed this kind of experience.
Still alive! Wait, where am I?
In Fading Echo, you play as one, a young shapeshifter that can harness this energy force called Aether, and then transform into these various elemental blobs of water, fire, steam, and toxic sludge. While she's trying to figure out who she is and how to control these transformations, she finds out she's the only one that can save the world from this mysterious force called the Paradox that's tearing everything apart. Then you throw in these multi-dimensional realities that you can travel to and from, one zany, dysfunctional family, an artificial intelligence named Vellum that takes the form of a school of energy fish, a flying whale, and this weird little critter named Bob. And this game quickly gets pretty entertaining. You know, when you stop and think about it, it sounds pretty ridiculous. But sometimes it's the crazy stuff that makes the best narrative. All of this craziness is brought to life by some heavy hitter voice actors. Amateria, the indie developer behind Fading Echo, despite it being their first game as a studio, they managed to land Samantha Bayer, who played Karlak in Baldur's Gate 3, to voice the lead role of the character 1. And they also got half of Critical Role's voice cast to make up the rest of the supporting characters and the villain. You might know Critical Role by their little known shows on Prime called The Legend of Vox Machina or The Mighty Nine. Or maybe some name dropping will do the trick. Like probably the most well known one, Laura Bailey, who played Vixalia in The Legend of Vox Machina. The developer said, "We've been incredibly fortunate. It started as a bold indie adventure, somehow brought together world class voice talents, a brilliant composer, and an extraordinary writer. I think they saw the spark in our vision and just said, let's do this." The story starts out with One and her mom, Rain, but it quickly develops into this more dynamic relationship between One and her guide, Vellum, who's played by Laura Bailey. One is a smartass with some sarcastic humor, and there's some genuinely funny interactions between the two. The game does a fantastic job having this dark underlying theme to the story, but it's got this comic book vibe to it, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. The head of the studio said, "Game's comic inspired art direction reinforces this sense of instability and wonder, turning each zone into a striking, unpredictable space where style meets surprise. We don't want to make it a backdrop. We wanted to make a world you can mess with. Fading Echo is a game where creativity, curiosity, and a little recklessness are always rewarded. It's a nice balance that carries throughout the game, and it's going to get you laughing. Just a few examples of this are the new enemy intros, like the Chicosaurus, that has that Leroy Jenkins energy. Enemies making comical noises when they're kicked off a ledge.
I know.
And Vellum turning into an asshole when you teleport into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, but you're all corrupted and no fun to talk to.
Incorrect. Vellum corruption levels are acceptable. Vellum wishes for 1 to activate mute function.
Did you just tell me to shut up? So are you normal now, or are you still stuck in arsehole setting?
Yes, 1. I'm normal now.
Which leads me to the world and the mastery of one's talents in the elements to bring unique verticality to the level design, fast-paced combat, fluid platforming, and creative puzzles. The world's semi-open, so once you get out of the tutorial, you can complete levels in any way that you like. And this is also tied to the skill tree directly, because whatever skills you can unlock are tied to the areas you complete. Even though the levels are more linear, it doesn't feel that way. I think that's due in part to the branching paths to find hidden goodies for your skill tree, but even more so because of the constant changing of dimensions. You're going to be using portals a lot. Switch from your home world to the water dimension to the shadow dimension, which fundamentally changes the platforming and puzzle solving.
Yes, yes, yes! Every time I see one of these portals, it's a 50-50 on whether I'm being banished to the shadow dimension or diving into Wonderland.
Well then, welcome to Wonderland, Dewdrop.
Some of these puzzles can be real brain teasers, even making you suck in items into your various blob forms to transport things from one dimension to another in order to progress. It's so creative that it encourages mastering all of the elements and blending them together to get past obstacles. And they take this same approach with combat. I wouldn't say the combat's hard, but it's really stylish and engaging. You have to use the various elements in order to weaken and kill the enemies quickly, like freezing them to death to shatter their life bar, or poisoning them so you can weaken and stun lock them to death, or even lighting them on fire so you can watch that damage tick, tick, tick away their health. Fading Echo keeps things fresh throughout its entire runtime by introducing new characters that throw new little twists into the story, new abilities, new elements to master, and new challenges to overcome. It's a bite sized adventure, which I can appreciate as a dad with two kids and limited time to play games. I clocked my playthrough at about 12 hours. For those of you that are going to be completionists, it might take you a little bit longer than that. And for those who just want to smash through to the end, it's going to be a little bit shorter. This game really is a blast. And based on the very positive reviews on Steam, I'm not the only one that enjoyed it. It's just that more people need to know about it so they can experience it for themselves. The developer currently has it out on Steam, but they're also planning to bring it to PlayStation, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch later this year. They just haven't released a specific date for it yet. This is the perfect little platforming adventure that I really didn't know that I needed. It brought me back to my younger years, where I just played video games for the pure enjoyment of them. Fading Echo feels like a tribute to those classic 3D action platformers like Crash Bandicoot, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet and Clank, where there's no loot boxes, no microtransactions, no battle passes, no endless grind, just a short action platforming adventure with fun combat, inventive puzzles, and a cool story that has a beginning, middle, and end, just like how games used to be.